Hello everyone, my name is Abdullah Kabaj. You are now tuned in to my first article review presentation on who takes the floor and why. This presentation is going to be about the effects of power and gender on volubility. But first, let's cover some basics. What is volubility? In an organizational context, volubility is the total amount of time spent talking. Now you may wonder what makes volubility so important. Well, volubility is a central factor in psychology, impression formation, and interpersonal interactions. And this is crucial because interpersonal communication, whether verbal or nonverbal, has a direct impact on the way status and power hierarchies are built. During the rest of this presentation, I will be evaluating the two main factors that are central to understanding volubility: gender and power. Before we jump into the article I will be referencing in this presentation, let's watch a short video of Eleanor Tabby, the president and CEO of a global consulting company, describing the workplace inequalities.
So where does that leave us? And are we in fact making progress? Because certainly if you consider statistical evidence currently, it doesn't look particularly positive. So let me just examine some statistics in Europe. Currently, 3% of the top 50 companies in Europe are led by women. Women are 1.5 relative to 10 men on corporate boards. And globally, women MBAs are hired at a lower level, fewer promotions, less opportunity in terms of equitable compensation, even controlling for location, geography, function, industry, parental status, years of work before and after the MBA. So what is going on? Research seems to suggest that the challenge is a rather interesting one, and that is the perpetuation of gender-based stereotypes and unconscious bias. So what does that mean? And I remember once speaking to a dual career couple, and they gave me the perfect example that I think manifests why this is so challenging. This particular couple consists of an individual. He is an economist, a law professor, published author. She is a pediatric surgeon and a hospital administrator. And they have a young son, and they have a reasonably good working arrangement whereby she typically drops off their son in the morning, and her partner picks up the son in the afternoon. And this particular day, this was not going to work because she had a very early surgery scheduled that morning. So he took the son to the Kinderkrippe, and just as he was handing the son over, the son threw up all over him. So he was covered with vomit. Quickly grabbed a towel, wiped it off, went running to the classroom, and his student said, "There's something going on with the jacket." And he said, yes, I apologize. I had to drop off my son. Oh, he was not even able to finish his comment. The students, oh my word, tenured professor, author, juggling all of this, and you take your son. And he thought this was fantastic. So
this will set the precedent for the upcoming case analysis. In the following slides, I will be referencing Victoria Briskell's article on Who Takes the Floor and Why: Gender, Power, and Volubility. This article highlights 3 studies that aim to explain the correlation between gender, power, and volubility. The studies were based to prove the following 3 hypotheses. The first one, there will be a main effect of power on volubility. 2, there will be a main effect of gender on volubility. And 3, there will be an interactive effect between gender and power on volubility. The first study examined the relationship of volubility, power, and gender using the archival data of the 2005 and 2007 United States Senate. This group was chosen for the study because all interactions are officially documented and all members have power. A regression analysis on the data collected showed there's an interaction between gender, power, and volubility. Specifically, male senators showed a strong positive relationship between power and speaking time, whereas female senators did not. The second study was a controlled experiment of manipulation of power. Results from the second study demonstrated that independently manipulating power has different effects on men's and women's reported volubility. More importantly, the study showed that high-power women adjusted their volubility more than low-power women did. This appeared to be consistent with the prediction that high-power women adjust their volubility due to a fear of backlash. Study 3 was to establish if the fear of backlash was justified or not. There were two important results from this study. One, high-power women were in fact justified for having the concern that they will face backlash if they were highly voluble. Two, the effects did not in any way interfere with the genders of the participants. Both male and female participants were likely to exhibit fear of backlash. This study supports the fact that these backlash effects are beliefs into our gender hierarchies that are shared among both males and females. In conclusion, this article sheds some light on our current gender and power hierarchies, where men are more prone to be dominant and voluble, whereas women feel like talking more than others at work is not the right way or the successful way to communicate power. I believe that achieving gender and power equality in the workplace and outside of the workplace requires everyone's engagement. Women and men, boys and girls, it's everyone's responsibility to attack these cultural norms at the very roots to make an impact. And I think we are slowly but surely on the right track.
What I'm going to be doing is giving you a very brief overview of two studies that I've done over a period of 10 years, looking at whether a large movement such as Me Too, where women are speaking out against sexual misconduct, can have unintended negative consequences in this fact that there's specifically male managers being scared or being less willing to sort of mentor, sponsor, interact with one-on-one, socialize with their female colleagues. So some background on this is since this movement really took off in 2017, a number of surveys have been done which have found it may have had an unintended negative ripple effect. And the way the media has covered this is to say that it has. So one study found 2/3 of male executives hesitate to hold one-on-one meetings with junior women. Half of male managers report being uncomfortable. This is with, I believe, 9,000 people. Working one-on-one or socializing with female colleagues, and another 1 in 6 with even mentoring them. Another study by the New York Times with 5,000 people found that 2/3 of both men and women believe they should be extra careful around the opposite sex, but women for fear of sexual harassment and men for fear of being accused. However, none of this can conclude, right, that Me Too necessarily accounts for the phenomenon as it was only conducted after. So we don't have a before and after kind of comparison, right? So that's exactly what I did. 2 identical experiments with male and female managers that address this issue. And the first one I did in 2008 was just out of my own experiences of frustration, noticing sort of a bunch of things, but for example, these all-male poker games between male graduate students and male faculty where women were explicitly not invited, and when we asked to, because we knew it was a socialization attempt or chance to get mentored and sponsored, they wouldn't let us. So this was frustrating. So that and many other things. So just as sort of for my own curiosity, I did a really simple study. And once this Me Too movement came out and then the articles started getting written, I just saw an opportunity to replicate the study, do it again, right?